Ja, jetzt kommen wir zum zweiten Vortrag zum Thema Führung, Jim. Der wird jetzt auf Englisch sein. Ich bleibe mal bei Deutsch. Und ich kann und will, glaube ich, gar nicht zu viel erzählen, Jim. Ich glaube, man kann das auch gar nicht beschreiben, was du machst, wie du es machst. Man muss es selbst erleben. Ich habe es erlebt und the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm not going to use this. And I really don't like being up here. But, hello. Thanks for coming, first of all. Right? You're giving me your time. You're giving our speaker some time. I want to ask you something. Can everybody put their cell phones away for 8 minutes for me? Yes. Because if you don't, you're not really listening to me. You're just hearing me. And I don't want you to hear me. I want you to listen to me. So you can turn them off or you can keep them on. Sasha. So if I yell at you, right? How many of you heard that? Everybody heard that, right? Did anybody listen to the emotional content that was in that? No. Probably none of you really listened. You heard the roar, right? You heard it. You didn't listen to it. This is my story. When a lion roars in the jungle, right? The animal kingdom hears the roar. That's not what they're doing. They're listening to the emotional content of the roar. Because that's the data packet of information. It's not the words, it's not the roar. The animal kingdom is listening to the emotional content of the roar for one reason and one reason only. To find the need of the lion's roar. If you're only listening to the roar, you're not hearing the emotional content of the roar, so therefore you're not going to source code, which is need. Depending on the roar, either Simba's born or there's danger. So they hear the roar, but they're listening to what's in the roar. And based on that, they're understanding the Lion King's need. Run or come to a party. Right? The kid's born or we're in trouble. It's that simple. Most human beings, if they do hear, which they really don't even hear, because most people are thinking, if you're in a dialogue or a communicative sort of environment, you're usually thinking while the other person's talking to you. So you're not hearing, you're in your own head. And most people are just waiting for you to shut up so they can talk. Seriously. But we walk around every day communicating with words thinking that we're actually talking and listening to each other. We're not. It's not happening. So, what you have to do is you have to understand that when I'm talking to you, I'm scanning you for emotional content in your words. And I'm finding out real quick what your need is. Because the minute that I find out your need, I have control of the situation. I have control of me. Not so much you, me. Now, if I recognize that need, and I can either facilitate that need or take that need away from you, I have the power in the dynamics of the structure, right? Between the two of us. Most people, if you get down to that level of actually listening to somebody, what you're doing is you're validating them. You're telling them that they have a value, that you're willing to be there with them and listen to them. We're all looking for value. We pick the wrong girlfriends and the wrong boyfriends and the wrong relationships because we want to be valued. We want to be told that we have a value. The best way to give that value to somebody is to not be thinking while they're talking to you and not be waiting for them to shut up, but to be there with them and to listen to them. Just listen. Especially if you're in a negotiation. It doesn't matter whether you do the deal or you don't do the deal. What matters is that you form a relationship with that person. And you form the relationship not by hearing the words, but by listening to the emotional content of those words, which is the data packet that takes you back to find out the need of the individual. And if you can satisfy the need of your customer, they'll come back and they'll spend money. But more importantly, if you give that person value by listening to them, they will feel trusted. And they will trust you because they'll feel safe with you. Now, we're not talking about, everybody doing Buddhist retreats in the business world. Business is about two things, money and money. And the lawyers taking care of the money. Right? It's a competitive environment. Right? So you don't have to turn your business or your interpersonal relationships into, love fest. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about simply valuing your employees and anybody that you come into contact with by listening to them. Most people just want to be heard. And if you let them be heard, they'll feel appreciated. But if you find out that need, they'll follow you. They will do things for you. I had a business manager that came into me and said, my client is sick, and I don't know what to do. And I said, well, did you make them a glass of tea with hot water and lemon? And he said, no. And I said, why not? And I said, tomorrow when you go in with that client, if they're still sick, take them a glass of hot water with some lemon and some honey. And he was like, what? I said, take them some fucking lemon and some hot water. He did it, and he came back to me that night. He was like, dude. Her eyes were like, she was German. She was like, no, I can't take the water. Ich mein Heart like it. But what he did was he acknowledged to that person that they weren't feeling good. And he went over and he gave him some water with some lemon and some honey. And then he said, go home. And she said, what? He said, go home. You're no use to me today. You're undervaluing. I'm not getting the work out of you. She went home and came back the next day, and she worked harder for him for the next week. Just because that he saw that she had a need, which was to say, you're sick. My girlfriend the other day was out with 3 girls. They were having a slumber party. And she said that they said to her, you know what, we really like you because you never speak badly about people. You always have a good thing to say about people. And she came back and told me that. She said that was very nice that they said that. I felt really good. And I said, did you actually listen to them? And she said, yeah, I heard them. They said I was nice. That's not what they said to you. They said that they respect you. They said that they're very, very honored to have you as a friend. They said to you that they can rely on you, that you're not stupid, that you have empathy for other people. So she was just hearing what they said. She wasn't listening to what they said. So that's what I really, really ask you to do. Is stop listening to hearing the words. Start listening to the emotional content behind the words. And then you'll find out the person's need. And then you're in communication with each other. You're listening to me now. You hear this room? You can hear a pin drop. Because I'm with you. I'm actually giving of myself. I'm speaking with you. I'm not speaking at you. And you instinctively know that I have respect for you. Because I'm not talking at you. I'm speaking with you. And you'll all buy what I sell afterwards. Whether you know what it is or not. Because you hear the authenticity in my voice. and you say, this guy's okay. That's it. So, I want to ask you, for 15 or 30 seconds, I want you to turn to the person next to you. This is the group participation. Really, turn to the person that's next to you and don't say a word. Just look at them. Seriously. Pick the person that's beside you. I'm going to time it. See if you can do it for 30 seconds without talking. Really. Grab a person. We're going to start now. Okay? No conversation. Everybody quiet. Grab a set of eyes. Lady behind you. Grab a set of eyes. Really. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Shh. Look at each other. And listen to each other. Shh. Shh. That's good. It's 30 seconds. Lady hiccup. That's good. You don't want to stop. These guys just did a high five with each other. That's listening. You don't need to be talking to listen. Deaf people listen with their eyes. They don't listen with their ears. They're watching what you're doing after you finish speaking. When all the eyes have gone over there, they're still watching you. So, thanks for listening.
Ja, very impressive. Also, was ich gesagt habe, man kann es nicht beschreiben, was er macht und wie er es macht. Ich habe in die Gesichter geguckt, man hängt an seinen Lippen. Ich glaube, da ist eine ganz, ganz wichtige Botschaft dabei.